There we go. A pre-noon back day / cardio. This will be nice. This will be freaking nice. Usually I'd be one to say do your cardio in the morning on a separate occasion and then do your lift in the evening once you've got some food into your system. You've kind of properly digested it. You're energized. You're ready to throw some stuff around. You're no longer tired from that cardio session in the beginning. But as a very close second, cardio post-workout, you're not going to freaking kill your gains. It's a little bit less desirable, I would say, but it does save you making 2 trips. And depending on how far away your gym is, I mean, geez, I've heard stories of guys where they drive an hour. Maybe not every day, but at least on specific training days to some gyms, just because they have a certain kind of piece of equipment or like a certain leg press or a certain whatever. I mean, hell, I've even done that. There's a American barbell. They've got this leg press I really like. So whenever I'm doing really heavy legs, sometimes I'll make a trip out there, really, just for one specific machine, right? But today I'll just do cardio post-workout, make it a one-session type situation because I ended up sleeping in, really kind of maybe even over-recovering. Right? How does that sound? But we'll see. So when it comes to back with bent over barbell rows, I'm sure they're going to make a return, but they kind of fall into that same category as a movement that has a lot of kind of just overall activation and not so much, an awesome ratio of like targeted muscle being worked with everything else that you have to kind of flex in order to even do the movement. It's not like a seated cable row. When you're doing really heavy bent over barbell rows, you're working glutes, lower back, erectors, hamstrings, calves, even your quads a little bit, just holding the weight. And then I didn't even think about this part. The fact that I'm standing upright instead of doing a seated row, I'm also holding my body's weight up, so that's another few hundred pounds on my hamstrings and glutes. It's just not super efficient. So that's where, at least dieting down, makes more sense to just stick to more isolated kind of controlled work, or like even just straight up chest supported rows. And then that kind of makes me even kind of argue the logic of the guys where they really say, well, if you want to build a really big back, you got to slam deadlifts, bro. You got to do real heavy, bent over rowing and everything else. And of course I see the logic. It's certainly a ton of tension, and you're actually like mechanically moving a lot of shit around. But you're also really working your erectors. You don't need a massive lower back and like a freaking 2-inch thick lumbar to have a cool lat spread. If anything, it could kind of take away from it, like I kind of want my midsection, my waistline, side to side, back to front, to be kind of as trim as possible, especially when I diet down. And really thickening up your lower back and your sides, it can kind of take away from that look, Like whenever I see anybody doing really heavy, like side leans, where you pick up like a 50-pound dumbbell or kettlebell or something, and you're doing like side crunches, really flexing your obliques. I mean, there's a certain benefit to having them develop to a point, but muscle does not suddenly like shrink down and get toned as it gets built. It gets thicker. So if I've got a tip for anybody looking into some ab training, I'd say maybe ditch the side-to-side leans and just focus on front crunch style movements and just kind of keep it as simple as that. But in terms of today's back day, nothing too fancy, but I can guarantee that within an hour of having walked through the doors, I should be sending in some reasonably freaky down lighting, busting out a lat spread and saying to myself, whoa. Well, that's simply a prediction. We'll just have to see what actually ends up happening. Let's show some heavy single arm. I'd say more pull down, but I do lean back a little, so it's like when you see a guy do pull downs and he kind of has a little extra swing with it. But these are going to be pretty controlled. Now, towards the end of the set, might get a little nasty, but within reason, of course. Oh my God, okay. Whoa. Yeah, it's gonna be a few of those. No. No. Oh. Okay. Okay. Oh gosh. Yeah. Okay. One more. Then let's do some kind of row of sorts. Oh. Okay. Oh my God. Whoa. Holy crap. Yeah, I think a seated row next would be perfect. Those are really good. Honestly, if you got trouble actually feeling your lats, specifically like a pull down, I think it's much easier to get that mind muscle connection kind of intentional flex with something like this. I haven't done this row machine before. Well, for a while at least. But 5 big ones, trap focused. Now that's left it is for me to get hyped up. Oh my God. Oh. No. Oh. Oh. That's enough of that. 5 might have even been overkill. Feels good to move some shit around though. I think 2 more sets. 1 row and 1 pull down. So this would be the squeezing focused upper back kind of row. It's not a bad setup. Plus it kind of has some convergingness because I'm not just pulling my hands toward me, I'm also pulling them like in towards me at the same time. All right. No. 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 Oh, okay. Oh. Oh, let's go do a finisher pull down set. One. Okay. Oh my God. Wow. All right. Let's go find some lighting. All right. Last set complete. Let's do a little, get a little more centered. Yeah, there we go. See? Yeah. Actually, shit, let me turn something up. Yeah, there we go. Now we can see. So, what was that? 3 sets of cable pull downs, 2 sets of heavy rows, 1 set of lighter squeezing rows, and then a finisher of a machine pull down. That adds up to a pretty solid back day to me. Pretty good. Pretty good. If you know what I'm talking about there. But, yeah, overall feeling like feeling like a freaking beefcake. Oh my goodness. Yeah, let's actually run through some actual poses instead of just standing here. Boy. Oh my gosh. Well, nasty back pump and my residual arm pump just from doing all the back. I still can't get finger to shoulder. It's pretty close, but it's not like, you know, it's not like a full arm pump. But still, even that being the case, it's quite the good sign for me. And we're not even 2 weeks deep, so more size to come.